we'd just like to talk a little bit more about funding and aid in the developing world here in Lesotho through my experience and just some thoughts that I had on it. And so I would have to say the greatest aid that anyone can give to the African people or the Basotho people is the ability to help themselves. And on to that, these projects here have been funded a lot through international funding or international aid stuff. And we like to see that in the sense that they're establishing infrastructure or establishing practical ways that people can build skills and build their way out of poverty. I think too many times that possibly the Western world wants to impose because they're giving the funding, impose their rules or regulations on that type of funding. And so if we spend more of the time on skills training and really getting people down here to, like I said, help people help themselves in the way of not just giving something, but being there so that people can develop the skills on their own and create their own jobs, their own industries, their own livelihoods based on how they want to see it run. I don't think that we have to give as much pity. The African people are just as brilliant and just as smart as anybody in the world. And when we don't come in there and allow their knowledge and their beauty to be expressed in the way that their culture can see it, we might possibly do a lot more harm than we're doing good down here. And so allowing, like I said, aid, really allowing more decision making and more ways of evaluating qualitative measures here instead of numbers or quantitative measures of how much money or how many people we can affect, but really just encouraging the African people that they have the ability to do it and they are smart enough to do it, and here are just the small resources that can be used to make a greater difference. For the world in general, we separate, we're still calling first world and third world countries, and we want to continue to try to be one, and one world, one place. And so it's a re-socializing that has to happen all across the world. So like in volunteering or trying what you can do the best for the developing world, especially as a Westerner, is your lifestyle. And so it's living a positive example of social, environmental, economic, ethically lifestyles. And so if you can't make it down to the developing world and share the skills that you have there, I think the greatest way, especially for Westerners, is our consumption habits. The way that we are spending our money creates so much that is so connected to the developing world that we don't know about or can't see directly. And so if we want to help the developing world, we have to change our lifestyles as well. And so we can't be coming down and promoting a lifestyle that we're seeing now in the Western society that is not compatible with the earth or is out of our carrying capacity of the land and our social problems that are happening in the Western world. Let's learn from those mistakes or those examples of not being able to work out, and really, because the areas in the developing world have a great potential as they grow, to start showing the developing world a positive lifestyle that is not consumption in nature but life-sustaining in nature. And so, yeah, but if you have the ability to volunteer or come down, that's another way. If it's not your purchasing power, it is a way to come down. But it's not a way to impose Western values. It's really a way of understanding a different culture, and like mentioned before, and providing those skills that really skill training that you can give on to anybody to help them out. There's large needs for just planning and organization skills. There's large needs for just business skills and accounting skills. There's large needs, obviously, for healthcare skills, large needs for farming skills, large need for teaching skills, just so that the developing world is changing. It can't help from changing as well as the Western world, but being able to keep the pride of the culture and what it has with the shift into how the world's becoming a smaller place.